What's going on, you guys? Welcome back to the SFS channel. My name's Gavin, and today I've got some fantasy football lineup advice here for the Level 1 fantasy playoffs and 5 must-start running backs that need to be given consideration in all league formats this week here. So before I get into today's video, make sure to go down and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already, and turn the bell on so you guys are notified whenever I come out with a new video or go live for a fantasy Q&A. It really helps me out, and remember, once we hit that 1K marker here on the channel, I'll be giving away 10 draft guides for the 2021 season because of how amazing you guys have been so far this year. So thank you so much, you guys, but let's not waste any more time. Let's hit the intro and get into my 5 must-start running backs for Week 14. All right, my first guy that needs to be in lineups this week is David Montgomery, the lead back for the Chicago Bears. And Montgomery, in his last 2 performances, has 4 total touchdowns and back-to-back games with 20-plus fantasy points and half PPR scoring. Montgomery this week also has a really advantageous matchup against the Texans, the 31st ranked team against the run this season. So I think we can project a very high floor for Montgomery this week and have a really nice output for him here in a crucial game for many fantasy teams. Jonathan Taylor is my second guy on the list this week that needs to be started in all lineups. And I think JT this week has a great floor against a Raiders defense that has struggled to stop the run all season long. And with JT coming off his best performance of the season in fantasy and one of his more impressive outings as a rookie in that Colts offense, I think JT can be trusted here down the stretch, and especially in a big Week 14 game. The fantasy playoffs starting here, of course. I think JT is a very dependable option in all league formats. DeAndre Swift is another guy I love this week against my Green Bay Packers. And obviously, Green Bay has not been very good at stopping the run all season long this year. And for a guy like DeAndre Swift, who is extremely dynamic and a guy who is not used just as a running back, but a receiving threat in that offense as well, I think he boasts a humongous ceiling this week in the Level 1 fantasy playoffs. I think Swift's ability to rack up scrimmage yards this week is going to give him a super safe floor. And for a guy who is very good at catching the football and making explosive plays happen, I think that's where we can see his value go through the roof and see some really great production from him here. So DeAndre Swift, a must-start this week, and a guy I think can win leagues outright down the stretch of this season. Ezekiel Elliott gets my next spot on the list this week, and Zeke has been a guy who has struggled massively from that situation in the Cowboys offense this year and that battered O-line, but I was very encouraged what I saw from him in Week 13 against Baltimore. He had 18 carries for 77 yards, which I think is far more than I expected from him this week. Dallas was still blown out of the football game, but he was still able to rack up a nice amount of yards on the ground and see some very nice volume in that game as well. So going forward into a matchup this week against the Bengals without Joe Burrow, I think Elliott has the chance to see that Cowboys team stay in the game and be highly competitive for 4 quarters, which I think is a huge thing for his value the rest of this season. If the Cowboys are not in games, they're not going to be able to continue to run the football, and that is going to kill Zeke's value. But this week, against a team I think they can compete with, Zeke will be a very solid lineup option. And then my last must-start running back here in Week 14 is Wayne Gallman, the lead back currently for the New York Giants. And Wayne Gallman against the Cardinals defense this week, which is an average team against the run, I think is still a very viable lineup play because of the safe floor we've seen from him dating all the way back until Week 7. Since that Week 7 marker, Wayne Gallman has 10 or more carries in every game this season, and is a guy who, even in that 10-touch performance, still saw 5 receptions in that game, so a 15-touch game for him total, and a guy who has put up an extremely safe floor here throughout the course of this year. And Wayne Gallman also has 6 touchdowns this season, which is a very great marker to be at for a guy who is widely considered to be a RB2 or flex play. Gallman's been the definition of consistency this season, and with Barkley out of the lineup has been a great fantasy option. I love Gallman again this week, and I think he's not exactly the most flashy play, but a guy who can certainly get the job done, so he deserves a lineup spot for me in Week 14. Those are my top 5 must-start running backs for Week 14 NFL action. If you guys enjoyed today's video, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel, and turn the bell on so you guys are notified whenever I come out with a new video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you all next time. Peace out.